guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do a book review for a fun book I read in collab with Mister Morningstar, and that is Schizo by Nic Sheff. Schizo is a young adult contemporary fiction about Miles, a teenager in San Francisco, who finds out that he is schizophrenic and navigates his new life with his family, his relationships, and learns to cope with his triggers. At the same time, there's a little bit of a mystery going on and a little bit of an adventure that he goes through. So that's kind of the synopsis without any spoilers. I wouldn't give you guys any spoilers yet. So the first thing I want to say about this book, I think Mister Morningstar and I agreed on a 2.75. This was a good book. I thought it read very easily. I think I could have read it in one sitting if, one, I was a fast reader, and two, I had like 10 hours to spare. But it was like one of those books that you just sit down and read and you're like, okay, I'm going to read such and such. And then when you're done, you're like, no, one more chapter. And then you're just like, it was very easy to read. Obviously, I mean, it was good because it kept me hooked. In spite of the things that I didn't like about the book, I think the mental illness was treated very well. Aside from maybe one little thing, but I'll talk about that later. I really liked that, also the mental illness wasn't demonized. Like, typically when there's mental illness, especially in the genre of books I read, is like, the person who's mentally ill is the villain, right? Like Hannibal Lecter and, this serial killers and, that kind of stuff. Okay, granted, that's the kind of book I read, but, for once, it was cool. So now for the things I wasn't too big a fan of. The first one is that there's a little bitty mini plot twist towards the end, and I feel like I saw it coming. Not that I think it's a bad thing when you see a plot twist coming. I just remember when I thought the plot twist could happen for the first time, I remember thinking, could that be the best turn of events? I don't know. Maybe. I think it could have happened in a little more interesting way, in my opinion. And the other thing about this book, and this is like a huge pet peeve of mine in books. This is like, okay, I know this bothers me more than it should just because it's a pet peeve already, but I thoroughly don't like it when morals or like plots or stuff like that are over-explained. I just like it, maybe explain it like, the whole telling versus showing. I feel like there was a lot of telling in this book instead of just showing. And I'm not against telling. I think it could work if there's a healthy balance. Especially because, well, I don't know. Okay, so this book is YA, so it is granted for an audience that's might be a little younger than me. But, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of an excuse, though, because I remember even when I was younger and I was reading books, it's like sometimes when the author tells more than they show, I just feel like the author thinks I'm stupid as a reader. You know what I mean? Like when there's a moral or even, I don't know, it's like let the plot, let the story tell itself. You know what I mean? And I don't know, it's just like, I just felt like I was being spoon-fed the story a little too much. You know what I mean? I have a few spoilery thoughts now, so if Mr. Morningstar has anything to say that is non-spoilery, I'm going to let him fill in here.
I would give Schizo 3 stars. My main criticism is that despite the title, schizophrenia plays a surprisingly small role in the book. Other than a couple of hallucinations about crows, and then a very big twist ending that serves as a deus ex machina that fixes everything a little too easily. I wanted it to explore some of the more interesting parts of mental health issues, but it's YA, so it has to be simplistic. I would say it's worth a read. It's not terribly good, it's not terribly bad, but you could probably finish it in a day. But thanks again to Celeste for doing a buddy read with me. Yay!
Here's the thing. Here's the plot twist that I wasn't a big fan of. The whole, like, turns out Teddy was never his brother and he hallucinated it thing. I thought it could have been interesting for Teddy to have existed and have been his brother, and for the author to, like, really show Miles, like, actually accepting that it wasn't his fault. You know what I mean? Because I feel like taking Teddy out of the equation was just kind of like a plot convenience to not have to show that work on yourself. And I don't know, I just feel like it took away an element that could have been interesting to explore. Speaking of car crashes, I wish there had been a lot less of, like, Miles fangirling over Liza. I guess the parts when he's at home and being like, I'll fix it, kind of, like, serves the story of Teddy not existing, so I guess that's fine. But, like, I wish there had been less of him before when he tries to commit suicide, and then more of him in the actual ward. Some of the characters, like the other kids that were in the ward with him, could have been interesting to explore. I really wish we had spent more time on, I forget his name off the top of my head, but Miles' roommate, the one who has the stutter. I don't know, I was really curious, like, why he was there and everything when they say, you know, he can't function in the real world, and I don't know, I think it would have been really interesting to explore that side of things. So that's been our review. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely check out Mr. Morningstar's channel. I'll link it down below and here. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. If this review is convincing you, you want to read it and you are going to read it, yeah, let us know. Alright guys, like this video if you did, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye!